Hey everybody, this is Matthew Kent, and welcome to Theology on the Ground and the daily thought from my quiet time. Back out on the walking scene again. Very exciting. The weather is perfect. So today, coming at you from Ezekiel chapter 20, I've been a little bit surprised at how often in the last few days I've chosen to come with my thought from Ezekiel, but I don't know. It's a really good section of Ezekiel. There's a lot of stuff in here. And so today it was a recurring phrase. Sometimes it's a singular phrase that catches my attention and that I choose to share. Sometimes it's a recurring phrase. And in this case, it was definitely a recurring phrase. So here we go. Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 13. Then I said, I would pour out my wrath upon them in the wilderness to make a full end of them. But I acted for the sake of my name, that it should not be profaned in the sight of the nations in whose sight I had brought them out. So God is angry at Israel. He was going to make an end of them, but he didn't for the sake of his name, it says. Going down a little bit to verse 21, the second half of the verse, then I said, I would pour out my wrath upon them and spread my anger against them in the wilderness. But I withheld my hand and acted for the sake of my name, so that it should not be profaned in the sight of the nations in whose sight I had brought them out. And so it keeps going back to this idea that, hey, he was going to bring his wrath against them, destroy them, make an end of them, but you have this aspect of he's going to act for the sake of his name. And we've covered before in Theology on the Ground that God's wrath is a part of his character, and it's a part of his righteousness, a part of who he is and what he is like. But at the same time, there's this highest commitment of God that he is going to honor, to do right by the sake of his name. And I think it happens one more time, but I was looking at the page and I missed it. But then you have coming here this verse towards the end of chapter 20 now. And you shall know that I am the Lord when I deal with you for my name's sake, not according to your evil ways, not according to your corrupt deeds, O house of Israel, declares the Lord God. So that's an incredible verse. And a few verses earlier, he says, I will manifest my holiness among you in the sight of the nations. So earlier he's talking about for the sake of his name, so that the nations from whom he drove them forth would not see him acting in a certain way. And so part of his plan, his purpose, is to vindicate his holiness before the nations. So God is holy, and he desires to show his holiness. And then moreover, here in verse 44, he says, you shall know that I am the Lord when I deal with you for my name's sake, not according to your evil ways, O house of Israel. So that's great news for all of us, that God doesn't deal with us according to our evil ways. He deals with us in righteousness, and he deals with us for the sake of his name. So part of what it means to be God is that his highest commitment is to act for the sake of his name. And so God is not like us, and it would not be good for us to act for the sake of our name, because we're not anything to speak of. But God is infinitely worthy to be praised, and so part of what it means for him to be God is to act for the sake of his glory, to act for the praise of his name. Those are my thoughts for today. My other thought, just a life thought in general: get outside, take a walk. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Lord willing, I will see you guys again tomorrow.